Hello everyone and welcome to another unit review, and today I'm going to talk about Barbie. Let's just call her Barbie. For the sake of this review, it's going to be much easier, and then that way you people in the comments don't need to correct me on my speaking, which is kind of nice because it's a made-up name. I don't really care how it's said. But anyway, the point is that today we're going to be talking about her 7-star form. Something that global people will be getting and not JP people because, well, our version, she ended up being a 4 to 6 star, while we got a Golbez and a Rubicon who went from 5 to 7. Something that I'm still, so-so on, but I guess it makes sense in the context of the game, so whatever. Anyway, let's talk about her 7-star kit. Now, originally, what I've thought about Barbie in the past for the global side was that she was a pretty solid damage dealer. Like, if you look at her original kit, it's basically, can double cast her black magic. She has, different damage dealing attacks. She can give some lightning and wind resistance. She has a little bit of ability to give charmed, and more importantly, she just has a generally strong tornado. Now, talking about her TMR for a second, this is something that I've never been super crazy about. 30% HP, 50% extra damage to beast, bird, humans, and stone. Obviously, humans is the most beneficial of all of those, just, on the whole, by the fact that we fight more human enemies than we fight really stone, avian, and beast, unless global has had more of one of the or the other, but, just on very quick reflection and not thinking or really examining how many enemies, it seems like we normally get humans, so there is some advantage there. I wish that this did have a little bit of extra magic stats, because a TMR is always a 7 stars, either, something that doesn't really matter, it's just beneficial to their kit, or something that ends up just kind of making them a little bit limited. And Barbie's here, you can find it a little bit limited. I'm not saying that I don't want killers on it, I'm just saying instead of HP, might have been nice to just have some extra magic power, just to make her a bit stronger of a mage. But looking at her magic stat and everything, in the 7-star, it's, pretty nice for the time when it is coming out. Compared to future mages, she will fall behind in stat-wise. Now, Super Trust Mastery is a 50 magic stat accessory with 20% HP, 20% MP, and gives extra damage modifiers to Winds of Chaos. It gives extra damage modifiers on a whole bunch of other abilities and some wind resistance. So, basically what it should be. And to be fair, I think it's perfectly fine. I think that, a 50 magic accessory is pretty good. If we take a look at, just some of the magic accessories that I have, and let's just bring up, who should we bring up? Of course, we should bring up the Queen of Mages on the JP side. Basically, for magic accessories right now, 55 is kind of the highest, and that was on a limited time unit. We haven't really seen too much in the way of super high statted accessories on the JP side that are, much higher than 50. So Barbie's accessories act, Super TMR, does feel Super TMR-E. That is for sure. How good is it? Well, you have to remember in the future that tornado and wind attacks aren't necessarily the strongest form of damage. So while this is a generally nice item, really I think the biggest benefit that you're going to get out of, a ton of different units is probably just on Barbie or any tornado damage dealer. And other than that, you might just want to go for something else later, but it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's a Super TMR thing, not going to demean it at all. Now, talking about Barbie's 7-star kit, there are just some really nice debuffing abilities. If you look at her Tempest Eye Wall, the AoE 12 hit, wind 1200% damage magic attack with an AoE debuff of 120% to lightning and wind resistance for 4 turns, on a 5-turn cooldown available on turn 1 though. Wow, is that just really strong. AoE, 12 hits, high, pretty nice percentage, and debuffs wind and lightning resistance that much. That's the strongest lightning, but not the strongest wind debuff in the game. I still believe Wind Veritas, the 4 to 6 star, has a stronger wind debuff at 124% on his maxed out limit burst. But still, this is really good to have access to this, especially on turn 1. Wind-based team seems like it would be really nice with Barbie, with, opening with this ability and having a good 4 turns of just debuff. I think that this is kind of a mistake, but her and Sid, her and Sid are going to be best friends. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, well, I guess I'll just show. CG Sid, major wind damager with jumping abilities. Chaining into wind damage is basically just amazing for him. So put this guy with Barbie, you will be very happy. So I think Barbie could have some potential in the future, even if her power level is going to be kind of static from now on. Like, she's going to start falling behind some of the newer mages that are coming out, especially Ellie or Ultima if they come to the global side. Well, Ultima will come, but if Ellie comes, yeah, Barbie just doesn't compete with the kind of stacking magic damage that you see there. Also, CG Sakura with her Thunder and the enhancements we've seen, all 3 of those units are basically going to be considerably stronger than Barbie, but Barbie could still find a place in a wind damage team with CG Sid as a damage camper. So that's kind of an interesting thought. Looming Tempest gives herself auto revive, basically 80% for 4 turns, 200 MP heal, split over 4 turns. You're using triple cast, it's going to help, but not maybe enough. I don't know, we'll see. Access to triple back magic for multiple turns, totally fine. And Ominous Forecast and AoE, reflect 1 magic attack for 3 turns, self plus 150% magic for 3 turns, and 300% magic for the next turn on a 5-turn cooldown, available turn 6. This is nice. This could be, your finisher later on in the fight. However, you have to be careful with the AoE reflect, bouncing your spells off of her if she is using triple cast. Obviously not going to work because you need to cast on the enemy unless there's switching, which I've never tried. I just don't use reflect skills because reflect isn't an interesting enough mechanic, it feels like a lot of the time. But the 300% magic boost, on next turn, pretty cool. I would definitely take it. Nothing really to complain. For equipping her own TMR, she gets extra killers and 100% modifier to flurry, extra MP, and some extra magic when either true dual handing or when dual wielding. So yeah, the only other thing to talk about is, well, she gets a Raging Wind attack, which is a new magic spell that she can triple cast. It gets 120% for up to 10 times. Now, this is really good. Stacking damage is kind of the future for mages, but it just doesn't compare to what some of the stuff that is coming in the game. But does put her, as kind of a wind version of CG Sakura. So it's nice. Just remember, CG Sakura does have a way to give herself Pentacast, which is, much, much, much better. And then going down, just her Maelstrom, her Limit Burst, AoE 545%, magic attack ignoring 50% spirit, and debuffs lightning and wind resistance for 3 turns of 104%. Her cooldown is better than this, but she can access Limit Burst potentially more since the cost of her Limit Burst is pretty cheap. So what do I think about her? I think that she is an absolutely solid wind mage with a potential future based on other wind-based units. Right, like I have been using my 2 Lunaras with, CG Sid to get that wind chaining damage on CG Sid's jumps, and I've been able to hit 2 billion points of damage off of them, especially with enhancements. So I think that Barbie does have a potential long future with certain key units coming to the game. Other than that, on her own, I think she'll be a perfectly fine magic damage dealer that will fall behind a lot of what is top tier on the JP side for damage dealers. Currently, the thing is just, you know, compared to versus Ellie, Axstar does so much more damage versus Ellie, but you know, Ellie's stacking magic damage is still really top tier, especially with true dual hand magic coming out on the JP side. Means that Ellie can hit about 2600 magic, and hell, you know, we're getting magic boosting pots in the next couple of days, or in the next challenge, so that'll just be amazing to make Ellie even stronger, potentially a 2700 magic mage. Whew. So, damage-wise, yeah, I think Barbie is pretty darn interesting and pretty damn good. Very solid unit. Totally would recommend enhancing her. Seems like she'll be good in the future. But as a mage herself, probably just okay in the future. So that's all for now, and I will see you next time for the review of Zargi. Yeah, we'll just call him Zargi and Barbie. Why not? See you then.